Start with your introduction, then your debate starts.
Hello everyone, my name is Rishan and this is Vihan here. We are against the statement books will never cease to exist and we are proudly representing Vidya Shilpa Academy.
Hello everyone, my name is Anishka Sadangi. This is my partner Prakal Goyal. We are for the statement books will never cease to exist and we are representing DPS South.
Hello everyone, I'm Anagha and this is my partner
Sanjay, and today we are proudly representing Dean's Academy.
We are strongly against the statement books will never cease to exist.
First, let me start off by saying, in America, 80% of American families have never been to a bookstore. Can you imagine that? And another thing, I have a question for you guys. Would you rather search in a book like encyclopedia for an answer and just keep turning the pages until you find it, or will you just search in Google instead? Thank you, Rishan, for that insightful start. Now, I would like to continue by saying, recently my cousins had come to my house, and one of my cousins started to explain about how our classrooms now have this new feature called a smart whiteboard. What a smart whiteboard basically does is it can present Wikipedia and Safari. Now, I think as my partner said, would you rather, the question is being asked, would you rather look up on Wikipedia or go through thousands of pages to just find one answer?
Okay, so let me first tell what do we exactly mean by when we say books will never cease to exist. We mean that there will always be a variety of books and there will always be various types of books that you can read.
Can you imagine a world without books? It will become so boring. Over to Team C.
We are in the midst of one of the greatest survival struggles in the eventful history of humanity. During these COVID times, we looked up to the TV screen in order to find out the different strategies that countries were using in order to prevent COVID. Do you think we would have been able to gain this knowledge from books?
And in books, you only receive limited knowledge as they repeat the same content again and again on every page.
I would like to set the context before we begin that we are not talking about whether book reading is good or bad, because of course it is good. But we are talking about whether book reading is going to decline or not as per the statistics.
Many musicians, athletes, doctors, and scientists are famous all over the world. But did they become famous through books? No, they became famous through experience.
Over to Team A.
I would like to contradict to the statement of Team B. They said, the first speaker said that, well, books will never cease to exist means that and there will always be a type of book in some sort of variety. Well, I have something to say to that. Well, I personally think, and most people personally think, that in the future, movies are going to be the new thing. First of all, because they do the exact same thing that a book does, but you can actually see what's happening and hear what's happening. Instead of continuing to read and maybe wasting your own energy, you can just watch a movie. And another thing I would like to talk about is deforestation. Imagine how many trees are cutting down for books. 30 books cut down one large tree. Imagine 200 million books made. It is not sustainable of how many trees are getting lost here. And without... Over to Team B.
Okay, so thank you for the question that you gave us. But reading books actually also improve our spellings and our reading skills. Suppose if you go in a spell bee, you could win maybe, but also winning is not the thing that you would want. And second, many famous personalities like APJ Abdul Kalam wrote many books like The Wings of Fire. And these personalities also motivate other people. Over to Team C. I would like to extend the statement that my partner had mentioned. For instance, let's take S.P. Balasubramaniam, a famous singer. He had sang classical songs in a movie called Shankara Bharanam, and many of these songs were classical. But the most amazing thing is that he had not learned classical music. He was self-made. As you mentioned, APJ Abdul Kalam learned through books. But people are self-made now. They learn through their experiences. In 5th grade, APJ Abdul Kalam learned and had a motive because of an experience that his science teacher had given to him. That is how his dream was set. Now, S.P. Balasubramaniam sang classical songs and he was self-made.
And bookish knowledge are easily forgotten these days. And the knowledge you find on a digital page are engraved into your mind.
Team B, I would again like to contradict your statement by saying that even movies could improve your vocabulary while you're hearing them say people saying and say that APJ Abdul Kalam's book The Wings of Fire was turned into a movie. Instead of spending maybe 200 rupees and using most of your time to read a 200 or 500 page book, what if there was a 2-hour movie that you could use 2 hours to just hear? And I would like to take the example of the famous University Nalanda. Their invaders burnt them down. Now I want all of you to imagine what would have been the outcome if Nalanda had stored all of the information in online or in a PDF. They would have never lost all of the information by their books being burnt down. That's it.
Yeah, and even when you're traveling, should we carry many of books in a suitcase or just one iPad or laptop or a phone?
Over to Team B.
Okay, thank you Team A for the question again. But so by watching movies, these days kids only watch movies that are that they're not really productive, which leads to the kids wasting their time and not even just increasing their vocabulary. And you can't increase your vocabulary by watching subtitles on a movie.
Yes, and thank you for the question, Team A. But if you listen, you can't get the spelling. The spelling might get wrong also, right?
Over to Team C.
If you read too many books, your eyes will start to pain and you will not be able to understand the facts or the words they use in the books.
This is known as eye fatigue, and it not only happens with movies, also with books. Some books repeat the same words over and over, and they are not new to anyone. And also, nowadays, people are reading social media pages because it is easier for them. And people's attention span is very low, so they won't be able to focus on a book. And after all, they need quick bites of information.
There will be no social life if you read books all the time. You won't have enough time to play with your friends, spend time with your families and relatives.
Do you think during the adrenaline rush that we get from devices in our pockets and ears will be the same adrenaline rush that we get from books? No, of course not. Over to Team A.
Team B, you said if you hear, you don't learn as much. But what are we doing at school? We are listening to teachers and learning, right? Sometimes you don't have to write it down. You can just listen and understand what they're saying.
That's even what Verbattle is all about. Even Mr. Deepak Timaya specified it. It's not only about speaking and expressing your thoughts with your voice, but it's about listening to others and creating rebuttals and doing all of that. And also, you also said that kids nowadays don't watch many things that could improve your vocabulary. Well, that's the kids' choice. It's not the movies. Over to Team B.
actors, they have read many books, and that's why their pronunciation is correct. But if they just watch movies, their spelling also might get wrong. Their pronunciation also might get wrong.
And also, I would like to point out another point for this statement and this debate that's going on, that if children see, parents reading books, they'll actually, develop that trait and start reading books. But if parents are reading books on like e-books or Kindling, then the kids will think that they're just watching phone and wasting their time, leading to the kids not understanding and not reading books, and the parents just being worried and just telling that no, we're reading books like we're reading e-books. Over to Team C. The only thing constant in life is change, as a famous Greek philosopher had mentioned. So technology will take over books at one point of time or another. Books also cause climate change and deforestation.
These days, it's easy to understand the knowledge you gain on the digital page, and it's also hard to carry the books as it's heavy.
Researchers have proved that in US, adult reading have decreased from to 7%. So
these days, children are influenced by their parents and do not read any books.
novel reading has decreased from 47% in 2008 to 40% in 2017. This clearly proves that books are declining quickly.
And to read books, you need an active movement.
Last round.
Yeah. Team B. When you said in movies, pronunciation can mess up. Sometimes, even in books, when you're reading it, pronunciation even can mess up. And in movies, you're at least hearing what they're saying, so you can hear the pronunciation. And in book, you can't hear that, can you? And also, I would like to say about ebooks, comics even. Why are we spending maybe 200 to 500 rupees on paperback books when we can just read it free in PDF online? Over to Team B.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for the question again, Team B. Team A. So you said that watching movies and all will correct your pronunciation, and books don't. That is incorrect, as my understanding, respectfully, because if you read books again, you can actually see the words from eye to eye, which it is still better than movies. And ebooks, because of that, your eyesight could also be damaged, and you might wear specs, which you might be unhappy about.
Well, textbooks, notebooks, storybooks, and other
Time
types
up.
of...
Time up.
Over to Team C.
These days, the cost of books are increased. And people are unable to buy. But if you open the same book in the internet page, it's free of cost.
We shouldn't shy away from using technology. Instead of spending time on reading someone else's point of view, we can go to social networks and we can find out so much more. Also, nowadays people are becoming more vast and internet friendly. So experiences puts you on the trenches and gives you the opportunity to think and relive concepts once more. Which is why we need to learn from experiences and not books. We need to learn from travels and more, not just books. So I would like to conclude by saying that books will cease to exist at one point of time, and we need to adapt to changes. We need to stop relying on books completely. So I believe that my team's statement is strongly justified. Thank you.
Thank you.